So we're getting incredibly close now to the next Nintendo Direct, which will reveal more information about the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2. And of course this is a very exciting event for Animal Crossing fans, as whilst there's no guarantee we'll hear anything about the next Animal Crossing game, it is finally now possible for that to happen. And regardless, it paints a great picture of what the future will be like for Animal Crossing fans on this new console, what features we can enjoy and make use of. And recently, some new features have seemingly been confirmed, which will give us a great idea of what we can expect in the next Animal Crossing game, and some other things that we could see on the new console as well. Leave a like if you hope they do announce a new Animal Crossing game sooner rather than later, because I gotta see it. It's actually only a few days as of me uploading this video until Animal Crossing New Horizons turns 5 years old. In case you didn't know, Nintendo tends to only release one Animal Crossing game per console. We already got New Horizons on the Nintendo Switch, so it was pretty unlikely we'd see a new Animal Crossing game until the Nintendo Switch 2 releases, and of course, it'll finally get its release date with this new Nintendo Direct, which is very exciting. Whilst we don't know when it'll happen, it's basically a guarantee we'll see a new Animal Crossing game on the Nintendo Switch 2. After all, New Horizons has just been so incredibly successful, and the franchise has gotten to be one of Nintendo's absolute biggest after that launch. So it's interesting when new things are revealed about the Switch 2, which can kind of give us an idea of what features we can expect on the new game, whenever that might end up being. For example, in preparing for the release of the Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo has made some new filings with the FCC, which is basically something they have to do as far as I'm aware to get everything sort of approved for the release of this new console in the States. And this new filing has revealed that the new console will feature support for NFC for Amiibos, which effectively confirms that Amiibos will be returning, and that definitely indicates they should be a part of the next Animal Crossing game. Now, Amiibos were first introduced in the 3DS and Wii U era, and when we got Animal Crossing New Horizons, it wasn't immediately clear whether they would be a part of the game or not. However, fortunately, Nintendo decided to make them a massive part, and all of the Amiibo cards from the past from Animal Crossing New Leaf were made available, as well as the figures. We could use them to invite characters to the campsite, which was incredibly useful. And I imagine with Amiibo being confirmed for the Switch 2, you'll probably be able to do something very similar for the next game. After all, if a feature isn't broken, why fix it? It was a great way to invite characters to your island, it helped boost Amiibo card sales by a lot with the success of New Horizons. With this confirmed support, it seems very clear it will be a part of the next game. It is worth noting, of course, though, that Animal Crossing New Horizons also introduced some brand new Amiibo cards with the 2.0 update that featured all of the new villagers and characters that we were previously missing that weren't there back in Animal Crossing New Leaf. So to me, this would also indicate that if Amiibo is a part of the next Animal Crossing game, which is seeming likely, we will probably get a Series 6 of Amiibo. This would potentially include any of the new villagers which would be introduced in the next game, and special characters and such. Now, this might not necessarily happen immediately. After all, we only got cards for characters like Raymond in November 2021, which was over a year after the game launched and Raymond had first been available. So it took a while for us to get new cards. But hopefully Nintendo might actually plan ahead this time, since they know how popular these Animal Crossing Amiibo cards have been, and they know that the next Animal Crossing game is also probably going to be very successful, so if any new villagers will come in that game, I think we'll get Amiibo support from them very early on, which would definitely be a positive. It would also mean that for characters like Raymond, we wouldn't have to deal with that whole situation where people were selling him for billions of bells because he was wanted so much. If Amiibos were available, the character would be a lot more readily available, which would be great for everyone. My Nintendo News also discovered that another FCC filing was made, this time for a GameCube controller, which is directly linked to the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, the details on this one are a bit more vague, unfortunately, at this current time, but it's definitely not out of the realm of the possibility that maybe finally we might get GameCube support for the Nintendo Switch 2 on Nintendo Switch Online. And this would definitely be very exciting for Animal Crossing fans, as that would almost guarantee we would see the original Animal Crossing game, Population Growing, on the Switch 2. I can't tell you over the years how many comments I've gotten from people asking that we please get some of the old Animal Crossing games brought to the Nintendo Switch, and at this point it seems incredibly unlikely that they will be on the original Switch. However, the Switch 2, it's totally different territory, and Nintendo has already confirmed 100% that we will be seeing Nintendo Switch Online on the new console. So it's fairly safe to say that all of those games we can play will be available too, and hopefully that should mean that Nintendo will also be updating it with some new consoles. After all, we still don't have support for the Nintendo DS, we don't have support for the GameCube on there, so I could see that becoming a possibility, especially if Nintendo is releasing a specialized controller, as that would kind of be needed for some of these GameCube games to work properly. As for DS games, let's not forget that whilst they are dual screen, Nintendo can still make that work on one screen for the Nintendo Switch 2, they made it work on the Wii U back with Animal Crossing Wild World, so I definitely think it's a possibility that we could see that game released as well as the original Animal Crossing game population growing. However, that is a bit more speculative on my point. But if Nintendo is working on releasing some kind of GameCube controller for the new system, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that we will probably see GameCube games come to Switch Online, which would almost guarantee the original Animal Crossing game. After all, I can't imagine them re-releasing that as some kind of port. It's a fairly obscure game, and it's not really the same experience Animal Crossing fans are used to today, so I think it's much more likely it would just end up on Switch Online as a sort of incentive for Animal Crossing fans to purchase it. Another feature that was discovered is that voice chat will seemingly be a better implemented part of the Nintendo Switch 2, which effectively confirms to me at least that we should see some kind of microphone involved with this new console, which could mean we might finally see the return of the megaphone item from Animal Crossing New Leaf. This effectively allowed you to speak into the microphone and call out to your villagers, which helped you find them at any time. This was definitely much missed in Animal Crossing New Horizons, as our islands were significantly bigger than New Leaf, so it was easier to lose our villagers. It would definitely be interesting if this is a part of it, although I don't think I'd be using voice chat itself with this game. I just think Animal Crossing doesn't really need voice chat. But I could definitely get behind having that microphone feature back. That would be really useful, and I'm sure there's other uses for it too. Now, for the upcoming Nintendo Direct, I'd say my expectations are fairly low about seeing a new Animal Crossing game announced. I do think it is possible, we're definitely in the territory where this can happen now. However, I always like to keep my expectations low just to avoid disappointment, and I recommend that everyone else does the same. However, I do want to point out something very interesting in terms of the announcement timings that we might be able to expect. Now, originally Animal Crossing New Leaf, the previous game, was globally released in 2013. Once the game was about 5 years old, that's when we actually got the first announcement that Animal Crossing would be coming to the Nintendo Switch. Right now, we're actually sitting at Animal Crossing New Horizons being 5 years old, so the timing could be fairly similar. It is worth noting that back then it was confirmed this game would be coming out in 2019, which of course did not happen. New Horizons was delayed to 2020. But in my opinion, it's entirely possible the next Animal Crossing game could release in 2026. And if that does happen, it would basically be announced at some point this year. Either way, we'll just have to wait to see what Nintendo has planned, but it is exciting to think about some of the features which will be confirmed for the new console. Let me know what features you'd most like to see in the next Animal Crossing game. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you made it to the end, be sure to comment Bob's Gang so I know you did. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe and turn on notifications for more.